Welcome to the Lights Out podcast. This is Chris Lights Out Lytle, and this is our journey to document the history of mixed martial arts. I have brought with me my friend, the MMA detective Mike Davis, and together we will preserve the history and hear some great stories from the world in the era of the no-holds-barred. Thank you and enjoy.
Welcome back to the Lights Out MMA History Podcast. I am Joey Venti. I'm with the host of the show, the MMA detective Mike Davis. We have a special episode today. Thanks to friend of the show and host of the Game podcast, Nick Lamanga, we have with us one of the original members of the Carlson Gracie team, a veteran of extreme fighting, Mars, Pride, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu world champion, and Abu Dhabi Triple Crown champion. The man who taught me Vale Tudo on VHS, the Zen Machine, Mario Sperry. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, so Mario, one of the questions that I don't think ever really gets asked enough is about George Mehdi, the judo instructor.
Right.
So there was a bit of a rivalry between the Gracie family and Mehdi, but you and Murilo Bustamante got permission to work out with him. What was the relationship like between the families?
Well, I had the pleasure to train with Mehdi, Master Mehdi, for quite a while. When I fell in love with the jiu-jitsu competition was when I was around 18, 19. But at the same time, when I entered the university, so I studied economics in the Federal University of Rio, and I didn't have time to train as I had before. So I started doing judo at university, just to complement my style of fighting, because I like to be on top most of the time. So I like to exchange takedowns with the gi and also without the gi as well. But so I focus in training judo, and I've heard about Mehdi, and I went there. When I got there, he treated me really well. And, we heard stories about what happened in the past through him, actually. He started training with the Gracies, and then I don't know exactly what happened. He went to Japan, where he stayed for over a decade, training at Kodokan. And, he was my source of information. He was my source of one of the biggest sources that I had concerning discipline and the training itself, because he was used to train with the Olympic athletes. So he brought to the game that discipline, not just discipline on the mat, but how to train, what to do concerning training, right? So that's what I did with my jiu-jitsu. I tried to replicate the training that I started doing with Mehdi into jiu-jitsu. And that's what I think was one of the best, the biggest upsides that I got from him.
At UFC 2, March 11th, 1994, Jason Delucia fought Royce Gracie.
Right.
It was reported that Jason Delucia was a blue belt under yourself at the time. Is that true?
No.
Not at all. Do you remember that?
No, I don't even remember that.
All right. Murilo Bustamante fought Tom Erickson in Mars, an event that you fought in.
I was there. I saw it.
Of course. You were in his corner.
The fight was I'm not quite sure. The fight was 15 minutes, then all of a sudden it was 20 minutes, and all of a sudden it was 30 minutes or something like that.
Overtime. Yeah. So Rico Chiapparelli was under Renzo and cornered Tom Erickson.
Right.
And then after that fight, he got thrown out of Renzo.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I've heard. I don't remember, but now that you're saying that, I've heard something like that.
One of the things that people would say about you and your teaching when you first got here to the United States and you opened up a gym, and you even said it publicly in interviews, was that the jiu-jitsu being taught in the United States at the very beginning stages was oftentimes not the most correct version. Would you agree with that?
mean, let's put it this way. The way I delivered jiu-jitsu was different. You know, my way of thinking and the way I learned was through competition. So I prepare myself to compete. So that said, of course, I know it's not everybody who has the same mentality, but so that's why we have beginners class and advanced class and competition class, whatever you want to call. I truly believe there is not different jiu-jitsu. What we have is jiu-jitsu, and then the way we train jiu-jitsu is pretty much the same. The way I'm going to train you, or I'm going to train, I don't know, my daughter, or the way I'm going to train Nogueira or Arona or Paulo Filho is the same. The only difference is the intensity. That's it. So if you want to walk forward, you go step by step. There is no science. You don't need to go to NASA to understand that. It's the same in jiu-jitsu. You have more complex moves. But at the end of the day, what most of the times what decide fights is the physical condition, is pretty much basic moves. You know, a solid takedown, a solid guard pass, a solid sweep, and that said, there is not much difference. What the difference is in how you train, the intensity you train, how long you train for.
Okay. Did you ever get caught up in the rivalry of Luta Livre and Jiu Jitsu?
Oh yeah, I saw it. I lived that. I remember when I was young, you know, wow, let's go to this party. No, we cannot go to their place because it's Luta Livre. Most likely those guys are going to be there. You know, I was young. Then when I got a little bit older, you know, we look at each other, we start respecting each other. I was a guy that I always made a point to talk to those guys. Hugo Duarte, Eugenio Tadeu, they always respect me. They had the utmost respect with me because I made a point to respect them all as well. So then when they saw that, they were, oh my God, this guy is respecting me. So
it's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. You know, the same thing happened with Chute Boxe. You know, we had like a rivalry, and then all of a sudden, I was in Pride, and Murilo Rua, who fought against me, and he won, and he fought against that day. He fought against Kevin Hamilton, the late Kevin Hamilton, and Kevin Hamilton gave him a left hook on his eye, and he broke his eye sock. So I was in the airplane in Varig Airlines, Brazilian Airlines, and the commander was my friend, was one of my friends. You know, we studied together, whatever. Hey, Mario, how are you? Hey, good. Would you like to go to the business class? I said, no, man. You know, I'm in the business class already. You know what? But there's a guy there. He's all messed up, all broken on the back.
Car accident.
Bring him to the business class. So they brought him, and they said, why? No, that guy, you know, Mario Sperry. Oh, then it was over. Then after that, everything was cool. They respect me. I always respect them, but they made a point to respect me. So I always like to create a good environment. So yeah, I had problems, but not big a deal, not a big of a deal.
So like when Alan Goes opened up his gym in Luta Livre territory.
Yeah, I remember that. Copacabana was kind of a borderline, you know, Luta Livre Jiu-Jitsu, and but it was a great tension. But you know, the time passed, everybody kind of grew up a little bit, and that was over. But it was good. It was good to develop the sport. Everybody was kind of tense, and there is nothing like fear and insecurity to a strong man to lead himself to a better position, train more.
It makes you better.
Yeah, of course.
Makes you better. Okay, so you're instructional, the Vale Tudo to Street. You said many things in it that, like, I know it was your beginning English, it's very funny stuff, and people took clips. They made highlight reels, not of the moves, but of the Mario Sperry sayings.
Right.
Did that bother you at all, or did you think it was funny?
Not at all, not at all. You know, what happened was when I came to the first time to the first sets, and I was really worried about it because I got a call from my friend Paul Ville. Hey, man, you know, I would like to do some videos with you. And I was like, yeah, of course. I was a young guy, you know, I was excited. But when I got that, man, what I'm going to show, you know, what's so special that I have, you know, and the guy was, you know, Paul Ville was truly, I mean, the main factor in the success of the video, because he kind of directed me in a very, very good way. So he started talking now, what would you do here? Why you do that? So I start feeding him with information. And then we got some tapes of my old fight, I mean, my previous fights in MMA. So we kind of put the fights, I mean, the moves that I was training, teaching, and you could see on the fights. And you know, I spent like around 10 days in a room with another guy that I never met before. So after the second day, you know, it was kind of boring. So I started playing around to have everybody laugh. The camera laughed, the guy laughed. So I enjoy. So the time passed, you know, easier, faster. And I didn't realize, I didn't realize exactly what was going on. I felt so comfortable after 2 or 3 times. And then we did more 5 sets. And then it was like feeling at home. That's the way I teach, because I'm a very serious guy. But sometimes I say something funny just to make people relax, pay attention.
Those tapes were ahead of their time.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude. People still enjoy them. I mean, they still enjoy them for sure.
Yeah, I would be sued today, but you know, by homophobia or whatever you want to call, or bullying. But it is what it is. That's the way I learned, being pushed.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rickson Gracie and Marco Ruas had a pretty big rivalry.
Right.
And it was directly, you know, when you guys, the Carlson Gracie team, were probably at your peak. And they threw, like, Carlson, like, wait, let me get it right here. Marco Ruas tried to fight him, but Carlson insisted he fought a blue belt named Vitor Belfort for $100,000. What do you remember about, like, the kind of mix at that time in regards to all of this coming together?
Yeah, Carlson, you know, Carlson was a master in that matter. I mean, to push people to fight and obviously to create, you know, tensions here and there. He was used to do that at the gym with us. He was used to push us against each other in a nice way. All right. And I truly think that Carlson is a very smart man, especially in that scenario, in that occasion, because he knew that Marco Ruas would be a tough fight for Rickson. Yeah. So, and you know, I'm not saying that he would lose or he would win. It would be a tough fight because Marco Ruas is a big man, and he knows jiu-jitsu. He knows how to strike. He can avoid takedowns. You know the deal, right? So I think what Carlson did was kind of, in a way, he kind of tried to get a better fight. I mean, a better athlete for Marco Ruas. And Victor was a young man. He could punch.
Oh, yeah.
Jiu-jitsu. He was fast. He was stronger. He was heavier. So he said, you know what? You know, I'm gonna kind of protect Rickson somehow, and I'm gonna use one of my fighters to promote him. That's exactly what he did. The fight never came, but there was a lot of blah blah blah, and Victor kind of grew up a little bit in the media, and he could get more exposure. And that was it.
Why do you think Ruas and Rickson never fought?
I think it's a tough match. Back in the day, it was a tough match to put together, concerning money and resources to make it happen. Rickson had a great name. Ruas had a good name also. There was a good incentive to put those two together. They were Brazilians from different schools. They were very famous. But I think to get, you know, all the planets aligned, if you sort of speak,
Money.
yeah,
Money.
it was difficult, and it didn't happen.
Okay, so that's kind of a reoccurring theme with Rickson was money. There's not enough money, not money.
Right.
I heard a rumor that you were offered a super fight in Abu Dhabi against Rickson.
Well, I was not offered. What I've heard, and I was not there. That's what people told me from ADCC. The organizers told me, look, we're trying to hire, to get Rickson to fight you. Would you fight him? Say, yes, of course. It would be an honor to fight him. And that was it. And then all of a sudden they put Enzo Inoue, because Enzo Inoue submitted Henry Couture, was a big name by the moment, by that time. And the thing was, I was the first absolute champion. So who am I going to fight with? I need another absolute champion, right? So we didn't have that. So they maybe they chose Rickson, or I don't know exactly what happened, but that's what I've heard. But when it didn't came true, they called Enzo Inoue. That's what
I'm hearing money again, and I'm like, I can't imagine money being an issue for the
yeah. I'm sorry.
People of Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
For the Sheik?
Later on, what I've heard is that he asked some amount of money that they didn't agree with. That's what I've heard. I was not there again.
Okay, for sure. I heard that as well. The one thing about yourself, you never said no. There's not a you never said no? Ever.
Never.
Ever.
The same thing happened with, not the same thing happened. That's a weird thing happens again when I was supposed to fight Royce Gracie. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Valide fought Royce Gracie. And that's when the beginning of my, how can I say, disagreement with Carlson. At the beginning. Because I was supposed to fight Royce, because I submitted Royce Gracie in 1998.
And Hoyler's a savage. Hoyler's a savage.
By entering the absolute.
This was gonna be a jiu-jitsu match, right? Not an MMA fight.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
All jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. It was a jiu-jitsu match. And anyways, Hoyler fought against me on the Brazilian tournament.
Clock choke.
And I submit him on the 2 minutes, whatever. So right there, I got a call from a good friend of Helium Grace. Not Helium. Jesus.
Carlinos.
Horion.
Okay.
Yeah, good friend of Jorge is so this gentleman. He called me, Mario, would you fight Royce? I said, yeah, no problem. We're gonna fight. Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be great. So after like a week or so, we went to have this meeting to discuss the rules, and Valide was there also. And we were discussing the rules, and he said, Mario, Royce wants to fight a world champion from Carlson Gracie. And that time, I was the only one from Carlson Gracie that was a black belt world champion that year. And I won ADCC. It was a good year for me, 1998.
Yes.
And I said, yeah. So what they want? They want a no time limit and no points, just submission. I said, all right, let's do it. Yeah, but there is a problem. We want to put this on TV, and we can't sell that with no time limit, right? So I said, so they asked me, what do you think would be a good rule? I said, man, look, as you said, you gotta have a time limit because you're gonna be exposed on TV. So I said, okay, let's put it this way. Let's say 1 hour, and maybe if I do 30 points, 40 points, something like that, I win. Okay. So the next day, I heard that they choose Valide for some reason. And that was it.
That Gracie family, it's so interesting. Like they're like a pack,
Yeah.
but sometimes they fight each other. And
Yeah,
Carlson,
I say that they're like dogs that they live in the same backyard. They fight against each other, but when you put a new dog on the backyard, they're gonna kill the dog.
oh yeah, together, yes, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Your first fight, September 1st, 1995, the first fight on record. Duelo de Titas, Jose Balduino.
Balduino, yeah, he was a kickboxer.
You had Robson Gracie hand you the trophy at the end. Well,
Right.
why don't you take us through the first fight, the first time that we got to see you?
What was the question?
Take us through the first fight, like when you fought Jose Balduino.
Yeah, well, when it was funny because I was about to get in a corporative job in Exxon as interim economics interim. So I was, filling up the papers, and I got a call. Hey man, would you do a MMA fight? So yeah, I would do it. Yeah, of course. I never did it. I would like to, because we in Carlson, different from other gyms, jiu-jitsu gyms. We're used to train kickboxing. We were used to train Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling. We just took the gi off and slap each other. Like this was our regular life. So when they asked me to do my first MMA fight, I said, yeah, I'm ready. I want to do it. So I was scared of my father, because my father was a very straight guy, from the military. You got to study, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to be a someone. And I said, Dad, I won't get the job. I was scared to tell him that I won't get the job. I got this fight. Look, the money they're offering me is more than a year's salary in this new job that I'm going to get. So I'm thinking about to try my professional career. And he was reading a magazine, a newspaper. And he said, really? Is that what you want to do? I said, yeah, okay. So do it, but promise me one thing. So what? Be the best. That was it. So that was it. I stopped training.
And you never got a corporate job ever.
Ever.
Oh, he may not have said that if he would have known. He may not have said that.
Yeah. So I start training, and I was already trained, because I was used to train pretty much every day. And I just intensified my training, and he knew some jiu-jitsu also, some Luta Livre, whatever. And was a jiu-jitsu night, because we had Crezio Chaves also fought Jorge Oliveira. Was a great fight.
Yes.
Fight of the night. Jorge, he knee him in the face. At the end, he submitted Jorge. Jorge was one of the most important names at Luta Livre at that time. And I won. I got the mount, and I just ground and pound, and the fight was over.
You got an extreme fighting November 18th, 1995. It was a four-man tournament. How do you get in touch with John Perretti, the matchmaker?
Well, we met, I forgot his name now, man. There was this Brazilian guy who lived in Los Angeles. And
Federico Lapenda?
Federico Lapenda, yes, Lapenda, nice guy. He always treated me really well. He had some problems with different people, but with me, he was always straight. And he invited me. Actually, he invited Carlson. And I was there. And you want to fight? Say, yeah, of course. So they put my name on it.
That was it, huh?
Yeah, that was it. I was there training with Carlson. That was it.
Rudyard Montoya, you beat him by KO 242. Igor Zinoviev is your second opponent. Holy shit. That fight, it was so ahead of its time. It was so ahead of its time.
We both got tired, but I was tired, and the fight was going to the end. I was getting nervous because I could not submit him for some reason. It was very slippery, and I got tired, and I lost my grip. And I tried some crazy move. Mario is gonna finish. He's gonna be a draw. No draw. So I jumped to his back, and I ended up falling on the floor. And he stepped back and he kicked me. And I was so eager to take him down that I faced his knee, and I opened up a huge cut on my forearm. I mean, on my eyebrow, 18 stitches.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I could feel my bone here. So the guys stopped the fight. That was it. The referee stopped the fight.
Were you wiping blood up, or did you tap?
Oh, come on! I would have no problem to tap. I would
Man.
No, I saw the blood coming down because I took him down anyways. I ended up taking him down.
Yeah.
So I ended up in his half guard. So when I was I saw the blood coming, and I touched my
Your
face,
bone. The bone.
Yeah, I touched the bone. Oh no! And I did this. I cleaned on the mat. I cleaned the hand on the mat. I wouldn't. If I tap, I would say there's no problem. I have no shame to.
It is true. You only hit them out once. I
Yes.
do remember that point. You hit them out once.
Damn! Oh no! I cursed a little bit in Portuguese. Thanks God the referee could not understand. Golkar, his name, the Russian.
Okay, so Gokor was the referee. And by the way, that question, Crowbar from the Underground Forum, that one was for you, buddy. All right, Gokor was the referee. All right. After Extreme Fighting 1,
Right.
Royce Gracie goes in Black Belt magazine. He starts talking lots of shit. Oh, it's a UFC knockoff. You know, just because you're from Brazil doesn't mean you're a good fighter. Rickson was talking about John Lewis not being a black belt. What was the kind of fallout between yourself? Because it was like you were also in the crosshairs of what they were saying.
Well, to be honest, Carlson Gracie was a different world. Although Carlson was Gracie, he didn't have too much contact with the family. He was just with us most of the time. Of course, they talked, but you know, they were kind of rivals in a way. In Jiu Jitsu, not in MMA. And then what happened was exactly that, because when, let's put it this way, I mean, you know, I don't need to try to go around facts. I remember, like now, 5 seconds ago, after the first UFC, they brought the VHS video to Carlson Gracie. So they came there to try to sell packages to see the UFC too. Right? Oh, you go there, you buy a plane, a hotel, you know, to see UFC too. So they put the video VHS, and when we saw the fighters that fought Royce Gracie in 1991, we started laughing. Well, I want to fight those guys too.
Yeah, 93. Yeah.
I want to fight those guys too, man. I fight now. Royce with the kimono and me and myself without the kimono. I fight everyone. Amaury Bitet, Murilo, everybody. I want to fight. No. We have the representative of Jiu Jitsu already. No, I don't. This is martial arts. I mean, it's not like Jiu Jitsu against Luta Livre. No, it's fight against fight. No. We are here to sell packages, not to get fighters. We have already the representative of Jiu Jitsu. And Amaury Bitet said, why is Royce? Why is not me? I'm the champion one. Come on.
Amaury Bitet, fucking savage.
Yeah. He was very unlucky because when he got in UFC, he was too light. So he fought
Down Fry. Okay, but if that fight is so cutting edge, it's still good today. It's still good today.
It was too small for Don Fry.
Yeah.
Too small. But anyways, that's what happened. Everybody was laughing because there was this guy who came with one glove.
Archer Mercer.
That was mind-blowing, man. It was crazy.
And Gerard Gordeau was smoking in the rules meeting, smoking backstage, smoking on his way to the right. Put it out right before he went to the ring.
We were using back in the 90s I mean, 91, 90, we already used to do diet and cut weight and eat healthy and do conditioning, stretching, and boxing and jiu-jitsu and hitting each other with the gloves on the ground. So we were way ahead of those guys.
Were you at the Pentagon Combat show where Renzo Gracie and the riot broke out?
Yeah, I was there. They turned off.
Would you describe that?
Yeah, I mean, Eugenio Tadeu is a tough guy, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's no joke.
No.
He's an animal. He's a little animal, man. And he's a tough man. He's a tough fighter. And he has good stance and he has good wrestling defense. He got good stamina. And it was a tough fight for Renzo. And I remember Ryan Gracie, the late Ryan Gracie, that may God have his soul, punch Eugenio from the fence. And that was it. That was a riot.
They turned the lights off too.
The lights off. Woo, Brazilian style.
Yeah. Babalu was there in our interview with Babalu. He said he had a surgery on his knee. He was all the way upstairs. I said, well, what was your thoughts? It was very good. It was very exciting. I wish I was downstairs. It was very, very good. You know, it's just savage.
It was funny because the next morning, the biggest newspaper, global newspaper, there was a picture on the front page, me holding a chair, like the.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Picking up a chair, and all that mess. Anyways, good times.
Yeah, very good times. Very good times. Well, Health Gracie just had an issue at a jiu-jitsu tournament a few years ago. Right. The jiu-jitsu roots are of just a savage lifestyle, a barbarian lifestyle.
Yeah.
The sport jiu-jitsu lifestyle today would get eaten by you guys.
Well, what happened in I think today, the Americans are very good at this. They know how to take a product
like attorneys
and
like a lawyer,
get it better to sell. So they create, and I had to bow for those guys because they create industry. So we have now seminars, videos, fights, UFC, ADCC, who is number one, what a new breed, AGP, oh my God. So that, and now you see the IBJIF, you have the masters. So you see, you have like white belts to black belts. Master 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weight divisions, male and female. We're talking about 13, 14,000 people in a tournament in 10 days. So look how massive this thing is, how much money circulates and flows surrounding kimonos, rash guards, videos, sponsors, you name it. So I think today a lot of people have access to jiu-jitsu, because I remember back in the day when I started becoming famous on TV and people started recognizing me and people were scared of me. Oh, this guy's an alien.
Yeah.
My wife, she was my girlfriend back in the day. I've been married for 29 years. So she came from a different part of society. She was more, the glamour side. She was involved in modeling. She was involved in TV and blah, blah, blah. And I was this guy from Carlson Gracie, a jiu-jitsu champion, MMA fighter. So I was totally out of my league with her, right? And she brought me to, and I could see when people looking, oh my God, then, I'm a nice guy. I'm a cool guy. So I started making friends. But was kind of like there's this mystic with the fighters, and with we came to the US, and then the technology, YouTube, internet.
Oh, yeah.
And access, people could see, oh, those guys do this, they do that. And people start testing themselves in gyms. And, we are where we are now.
You fought on the Mars, November 22nd, 1996, Mars Reality Super Fighter. Okay, you beat Andrei Dudko.
Dudko, yeah.
The main event is Oleg Taktarov versus Renzo Gracie. Oleg claims that he was drugged prior to the event.
Really?
Did you notice anything a little bit crazy with the promoters or anything like that?
Never heard about that. Never heard about it. Never
said it here.
Never realized that I spoke with him not many times, but he never said anything about that to me, or I never heard this. The first time I heard that story.
He was drinking during our interview, so maybe that was also a part of it.
All right.
You also fought in an Australia event, the first MMA event ever in Australia. Here's the thing. This promoter promotes UFC Australia, and he gives the impression that it's a UFC event. And then about a week before, $25,000 take-all, people realized this guy was using a fake name. Do you remember kind of going down there and all the controversy surrounding that stuff?
Well, I remember the controversy after. Because,
oh, my God.
Yeah, because when I got back to Brazil, because during the fight and the training, I was just focused on the training and the fight itself. I didn't mind to fight UFC Australia or fight cage combat, whatever. I don't mind. I didn't mind. So I really didn't pay attention, but it was kind of weird because I had the belt, UFC belt, whatever. I don't even have it on my wall. I don't even have it on my wall because I feel, kind of awkward.
Yeah, right. So the guy even made a belt, a UFC belt, and yeah, Mario won. Did the check bounce, the $25,000 take-all? Did you actually get paid?
Yes, I did.
All right. So good. So Vernon White, you win with decision. You got the hardest draw of the tournament.
Right.
You beat Neil Bodycoat in 47 seconds. And then Chris Haseman on the other side of the bracket wins a fight by digging his chin into the eye of Elvis Sinisek. Do you remember what you did backstage?
Yeah. What he did?
You.
What I did?
The rumor is you sent a message to Chris Haseman's locker room that if he digs his chin into your eye, you will fucking gouge his eye out.
No, I didn't say that.
Really?
No, I would never say that.
Okay.
It would have been fair. That's fair game.
I would gouge his eye without saying anything.
Well, okay, that's fair.
No, I didn't say that. Never said that.
Okay. Yeah, the rumor was you put your foot down and said, we're going to fight like men. You do that shit, I'm gouging your fucking eye out.
I saw the move. I said, he would never do that with me. Never. Not in this lifetime. He has to reborn again to that move. Never. No, I didn't say that.
ADCC #1, you're at the inaugural 1998 ADCC.
Right.
How do you get the invite? The first one, it's always a little bit unorganized and crazy. What do you remember from it?
Well, I got a call and Mario Sperry, yeah, that's me. Hey man, you'd like to fight in a no-gi tournament in Abu Dhabi. I said, Abu Dhabi? Where is Abu Dhabi? Oh, here in the Middle East, a country that nobody knew about Abu Dhabi. 1998, I never heard about UAE. I said, you know what? Of course, let's do it. So I start training, and was everybody kind of didn't know exactly what's going to happen. It was like going to the moon, going to Mars, I took a flight 20 hours to Germany and then Abu Dhabi. When we got there, we were surprised with the treatment, how they treat us. They treat us like stars. and with a lot of respect, and you know, Sheikh Darnouk could put on a good show with his brains, and he changed the rules with the way he thought about the fighting, the martial arts, the grappling art. He thought, you know, I want to do this and that, and it was a success. It was amazing.
Who was your roommate? Who was your roommate?
Roommate, I don't remember.
A lot of times guys showed up and they just said, oh, you guys are staying in the same room together.
I remember a funny story though. When was that? No, this was not when. It was a funny story because Jorge Patino, you know Jorge Patino Macaco?
Of course.
Yeah, so okay. So Jorge Patino Macaco, he's a funny guy. I like him a lot. A funny kid. I like
Living
him.
in Brazil again. Yeah.
Yeah. And Murillo is a very, very kind of serious man, right? Very,
of course.
And then we were there, and as you mentioned, who is my roommate? I don't know my roommate, but I knew Murillo's roommate. So they put Murillo with Patino, and it was there. Murillo, hey, who's my now? And who's with me? Oh, Jorge Patino Macaco. And Macaco was there, and Murillo said, no. Murillo was like, you know, like, oh my God. And Patino said, hey, Murillo, don't worry, man. I know even me can tolerate myself sometimes. So but I don't know if they changed rooms or whatever. I don't remember who was with me in the room, but it was a great event, great party.
Yeah. I mean, you got Renato Verissimo, you choked him out in the finals.
Right.
And you also did the absolutes. Ricardo Alves, Oleg Taktarov, Simon Sassi, and Ricardo Marias, dude.
Yeah, Ricardo, and I did that. My final was against
Siassi? Was it Siassi?
No, was from Renzo. What's his name?
Ricardo Marias.
Almeida. Ricardo
Almeida.
Yeah, Cachorrão. Big dog. Ricardo,
wow.
He fought in UFC. It was the toughest fight, my toughest fight on the finals. I beat him like 5-0. I took him down and passed his guard. And then he got the final with Arona next year. You see the picture that Arona is posting his hand on the floor with his feet up to the ceiling? It was with Ricardo Almeida. It was a tough opponent.
Oh, yeah. Very game opponent.
Yeah.
Your approach to jiu-jitsu was more of a street style. That's how you described it. Do you think that helped you because everybody else was kind of doing a sporting style?
Yeah, I mean, when I started learning jiu-jitsu and I started enjoying jiu-jitsu, I just did the competition because I like the challenge, but I always trained to use in a real situation at the gym. So I was thinking about one day, you know, Brazil is Brazil. I mean, you know, you got to survive on the streets. You got to survive at school. You got to survive in parties. You got to survive everywhere you go. There's some people going to challenge you, especially if you're young. So I was getting ready for the worst, expecting the best. And that's what I did. That's why that's why most of the best moves that I do, such as, you know, the back maintenance that I stay on the back, or the kadagatami or the kimura, I can do it with the gi and without the gi.
Wow.
Yeah. So all my concept of smashing and grips, I use a lot of my stuff in both scenarios, gi and no gi. And that's why it was easy for us to go through MMA as well. Actually, we started doing no gi because of the MMA. It was the other way around.
Right.
We didn't do no gi because we are willing to go to ADCC. There was no ADCC. We did no gi because we like to brawl, to fight.
In February 24th, 1999, the second ADCC, you're in the super fight with Ensign Inoue.
Right.
You guys almost got into a fight after your bout. Was there an almost fight where they had to, like, I know the NUA brothers almost got into a fight with somebody after your bout.
Not with me. Never had a problem with him. Never ever had a problem with him. Maybe on I don't know, the backstage, not with me.
Okay.
Never.
During the match, he was yelling at Carlson Gracie because he thought you were stalling. And he's like, "Hey, Carlson, this is the type of match that you always speak against."
Yeah, 16-0. What am I going to do? Do something.
After that, you departed Carlson Gracie. The team Carlson Gracie and formed the Brazilian top team. How would you describe your departure?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, and look what you said, your departure. It seems that I left. I didn't leave. He expelled us.
Okay.
You see, I had the utmost respect with him, but we are where we are. I mean, we follow the business, we follow the development of the sport. So what happened to Carlson I think was a mistake that he did, a strategic mistake, because he moved to California in 1995, and I went there to train with him and help him in the gym to teach and whatever. But in 1999 to 2000, I realized, gyms are good to subsidize your training. And then because today we have sponsors, but back in the day, we didn't have sponsorship. So you had at least to have a gym to pay your bills and subsidize your training. So that's what I did. I opened up my own gym in Brazil. I started training hard, and Carlson moved to America. And then Abu Dhabi, Pride start, happening. And one time we said, "Hey, Carlson, look, there's something wrong with this saddle what we have here. We cannot go to America to train with you. You gotta come to Brazil to train with us, right? Because when I was used to go to America to train with him, was hard for me. Was hard. I was not in my home. I was not used to the food, to the bed, and I had to have a car. It was hard. I said, "Man, look, I better stay in my home. You gotta come and train with us. Train here." And then start the conflict, right? He didn't want to come. I said, "No, look, I want to pay you, but how am I going to pay you if you don't come and train us?" It's difficult. That they start the argument, and all of a sudden, one day I woke up, "Hey, Mario, you guys were expelled." I say, "Okay, what can I do?" Murilo and Liborio went there, talked to him, but there was no agreement. And then we start doing our own thing. It was a pity, because we'd like to have him with us to the end. Oh, I can hear you.
Did you guys ever have a conversation afterward? You and Carlson?
We never. Never, ever. Murilo tried. Liborio tried like twice, if I'm not mistaken. And they said, "Mario, we couldn't get anything." I said, "Okay, I'm sorry," because I was used to living south of Brazil at that time. So it was a pity, because he could be here with us till today. He was, I don't know.
Yeah, it's too bad. That's too bad. Todd Medina was one of your workout partners in California.
Yes.
Did he receive a black belt from Carlson?
I'm not quite sure. It's been a while I don't talk to him, but I think it was Carlson who gave to him. I'm not quite sure. I can tell you. I can't say anything about that.
Yeah, I know the black belt list of Carlson Gracie. I know it's incomplete, and there's a few people that say that they got it and they're not listed. Vitor Belfort, there's another one.
Right. He's not there on the list?
No.
Okay. Well, I think Victor Belfort had some problems with Carlson, but it is what it is. And you are Carlson Gracie black belt. Nothing's going to change that.
It's true. March 1st, 2000, Roberto Travin, you beat him in another ADCC number 3. you don't have any MMA fights between ADCC 1 and 3. What was the reason for the time off?
But there was not good events. I mean, there was Pride, but we didn't have access to Pride. Still, the access to Pride that we had, and I was very lucky in my strategy. So in 1999, I met Motoko Shida. Also, she passed away last year. She was my business partner. She was a Japanese lady who came to, she was used to work with Rings.
Yes.
Organization. Was really interesting because Rings you could punch standing but not on the ground. Just with open hands. And for us, it was beautiful because you could use jiu-jitsu with no problems, no elbows on the face, no punches on the face. So for us, it was a paradise. So we had that. So after ADCC 1999, I met her and we started talking. And I decided to go to Rings first instead of going to Pride to get used to the trip to Japan, to all the bureaucracy, all the
food, culture, yeah,
whatever you name it. So we had a very successful year of 2000 in Rings, and we made 2 champions there. We made Ricardo Arona under 93, Kings of Rings, and Nogueira, the heavyweight.
Jesus.
Yeah. So after that, we stepped our flag in Japan. So after those 2 belts that we got a good deal with Pride, and we left. Then we were used to the food, with the plane. I could negotiate a better pay to my fighters, to our fighters, and that was it.
Yeah, you beat Kanehara, who's very tough. Hiromitsu Kanehara, very game opponent.
I fought Kanehara too. I could not submit him. I won by points in one show that we had in Japan called UFO.
Right.
Well, this card was the same card that Rickson had his last fight on, correct?
Yeah. And also Saulo Ribeiro fought Kaoru Uno. No, Kaoru Uno. What's his name? He was
Yankee Sudo?
No. He was a Pancrase champion.
Kondo, Yuki Kondo.
Yuki Kondo.
I also lost to Yuki Kondo. I got a knee on my eyebrow, and they stopped the fight.
What was it like sharing a card with Rickson? I mean, that had to be a big thing, right?
Oh, yeah. Rickson, always good to talk to him and listen to what he has to say. Very polite all the time. Such an amazing person.
Oh, okay. As a competitor, Mario, listen, brother, I look at your career. It's fucking like it's like it's one of a warrior. Like this is what a warrior does.
Thank you, sir.
What was your opinion of the body of work of Rickson as a competitor?
Well, I think he was ahead of his time at the beginning, and he put himself in a position that he could negotiate his appearances, his performances, and I don't know. I didn't have the same opportunity.
No.
And I had to take whatever, I was hungry. Whatever food I have on the table, I would take it.
All right. Hey, listen to that last statement. Whatever food was left on the table, here we go. Mark Kerr was your opponent in ADCC, another Hall of Famer.
Right.
A fucking gorilla.
In his prime.
In his prime.
Mark Kerr.
Yeah. Juice to the gills, Mark Kerr.
Nice guy too. Well, it was funny because, we start the fight. I'm going to take, and I push him. Man, when I pushed the guy, it was like pushing a wall. And I was solid, like a rock. I said, man, it's going to be a long afternoon. And he was very, I mean, that guy is very smart as a fighter.
Yeah.
Nice.
High IQ.
Guy, very smart. I almost got him in a leg lock. Almost got him. I trained like for a year, a leg lock. And there's a funny story. He was like 10 minutes before the fight. And he was leaving the locker room and he saw me warming up. And he had his boots on. And I was doing a leg lock. So all of a sudden, when he comes in the ring, on the mat, he has no boots. And I was there, you know, like cooking the meal a little bit. I say, you know, I'm gonna shoot here the leg lock and see what happens. And boom, I shot the first time and it worked. I said, oh my God, I couldn't believe. And I hesitated a little bit and he defended.
Oh.
After that, never close, even close. I try again and again and again and again. He bump, defended all the time.
Okay. That's the beginning. The next Pride 17, there's a gentleman from Ukraine that makes a living destroying wrestlers and jiu-jitsu guys in particular. Igor Vovchanchin.
Yeah, that's funny, man, because I was in Japan for maybe 3.5, 2 years, rings and Pride, negotiating fighters, negotiating myself. And then I was dying to do my first fight in Pride. I was getting old already, 34, 33 years old. So I said, man, I need to fight. So they set up a fight. The first fight, it didn't happen. The guy got hurt. The second fight, the same thing. I was in shape, training. All of a sudden, you know, you're going to go for the first fight. The third fight, actually. And I was getting in BTT. It was like 20 days before the fight. They said, Mario, I have good news and bad news. Oh, my God. Give me the good news. You're going to fight. Your opponent got hurt again, but you're going to fight. Oh, all right. What is the bad news? The bad news that they offer you Igor Vovchanchin.
Wait. Igor Vovchanchin is 47-4 at this time, and he's like number 2 in the world.
He was number 2 in the world. He lost. He lost to
Welcome to Pride. Welcome to Pride.
Yeah. And I said, oh my God. So Nogueira had Mark Coleman on the first match, and then the second after, I mean, the next Pride, they gave me Igor Vovchanchin.
Oh. And
I was like, I kind of hesitated a second, and they said, look, they offer you a pretty decent amount of money if you win. And they said a number, and I said, I take it right there. I didn't even think about it. I say, you take it? Yeah, I take it. No problem. For this money, I take him. I'm going to win. No problem. And I hang the phone. And I said, oh, my God. I just accept the fight against Igor Vovchanchin. I had to and the funny thing is, look at this, man. It was so funny. All my friends, the people that I know, all the fighters, people that know fighting, know Igor Vovchanchin. He was very well known because he was used to beat all the Brazilian fighters.
He destroyed everybody.
Carlos Barreiro, Chico Bueno, Edson Carvalho, all the guys.
Wait. And made highlight reels.
Yeah, he was a highlight reel. He
didn't just beat. It was, you're going to watch this every time Pride starts their show. You're going to watch him beat Chico Bueno.
So I'm going to get there. So what happened was, I got in the gym. I said, man, guys, I got to fight. Really? Yeah, you're gonna fight. Who's gonna fight? I'm gonna fight. Oh man, everybody's excited. Yeah, you're gonna fight Mario. Yeah, one more guy in Pride. Yeah. Who are you gonna fight with? Oh yeah, I'm gonna fight Igor Vovchanchin. Really? I said, yeah. Oh my God, it was like that. Oh, you're gonna fight Igor Vovchanchin. Really? It's a fight. And
that's when you know who your friends are. That's when you know who your friends are.
I was there, and everybody was like, oh my God, this guy's going to get killed. I said, all right. So I trained like I trained like 1 million times a takedown, like 1 million, literally 1 million times for a month. Ba ba ba, takedown, ba ba ba, takedown. I did some other combinations and said, man, I will try my best to put him on the ground. If I get him on the ground, he's dead. And then we got there in Japan. We finally, the day of the fight, the same thing. Oh, you're gonna fight the over Chute? Yeah, I'm gonna fight the over Chute. Yeah, he's the best. Yeah, he's one of the best. The worst fighters you can. Yes, a good challenge. I like challenges. I always like to test my skills. So I enter. I was the first one to enter. So I enter, you know, my music, some highlights on myself. Then I look his highlights. People falling, boom, boom, boom. I said, "Oh my God, what I'm doing here, Jesus!" And luckily, I was very successful in what I trained. I could take him down, and I could make him tired, make him mistakes, and I could submit him.
I was training with Rodrigo Madero at the time. And when this fight was announced, we all thought it was the worst matchup in the world, and you proved us all wrong. So that was a highlight for you.
It was a good fight, man. It was
great.
A good moment for jiu-jitsu.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it was. When did you know that Pride was gonna go out of business? What gave you the idea?
And I was caught by surprise. I didn't know. And that was one of the reasons that I kind of retired, because I was caught by surprise. It was my fault. I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming at all.
Wow.
I swear to God. So I could not prepare myself. And Murillo had a problem with Dana White.
Well, Murillo had a contract in his clause to get offers at other businesses. They put that in his clause. He was offered one money. He goes and gets another offer and goes, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to stay with you guys." And then the UFC said, "No, we don't want you."
Yeah, it was some problem. I don't know the details, but he stayed like 2 years in his prime without fighting. And then he was the first Brazilian UFC champion, and he's not even. People doesn't remember.
Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he could. They put him aside, and then when I tried to, I always had a good relationship. I saw White many times in Japan. Not many times, but like 3 or 4 times. I would say we talk a little bit, but I didn't have access to UFC because of that. Because we were kind of not persona non grata there. That's what I think.
Okay.
Was my perspective. So I was not able, maybe it was a lack of ability of myself, my lack of ability, but I could get into the UFC and try to promote our fighters there.
Wow. Well, Pride really didn't do any favors. The Murillo Rua fight, all right, you know somebody when you see them not win, when you see them lose, it tells you everything about a person that you need to know. That fight for you is Rua.
It was a good
fucking
fight.
Unreal. Fucking unreal, man.
I keep saying that's my favorite fight, MMA
It
fight.
should be.
My favorite MMA fight that I lost, but then again, I always say that you don't get much out of success. You get a lot out of failure. You learn a lot of failure, and it's a paradox because nobody wants to fail, right? But then again, you learn much more failing than winning, because at the end of the day, you know, most people love to win, but very few people like to train. Very few people enjoy training. And my grandfather was used to say, you know, everybody wants to see God, but nobody wants to die. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Everybody wants success, fame, money, but nobody wants to pay the price. It's kind of hard, man. So what was difficult?
Yeah, yeah. In that Hua fight, it was like he I think he may have broke a rib of you. You got very tired very fast.
Yeah, no, what happened was I made, was the very few moments in my career that I got emotion. It was a very big rivalry between us. And so, you know what? I was confident standing. I said, you know what? I'm going to knock this guy out. And I should have done the same thing I did with Wolf Chunching. Take him down. So in the very first 10 seconds, he knocked me down and I hurt my knee. I had the, I don't know in English, but they call in Portuguese the devil's tripod. I had the meniscus, the collateral, and the LCL at the same time.
Ugh.
When I got back, I had to cut my pants because my knee was like this. The pressure, because we left in the next day. So I got to Brazil. I had a surgery, and I did the meniscus, and I ended up, because they were so swollen that they could not see my LCL. And luckily, they didn't see it because I don't have it till today. I didn't have the surgery in the LCL. I just had the meniscus. And I just did a lot of physiotherapy. And like 4 months later, I was fighting again.
How many times have you been to Japan?
I went to Japan, and I know the number because when I came to America, I had to count how many times I was in Japan. They asked me, "Oh, you went to Japan many times? Why? Oh, how many times?" So I had to bring all my passports. And I open up and I count. It was 52 times in 8 years.
That's okay. Why didn't you move there? Why didn't you have a house there or a gym there?
My wife is here. She's listening to you.
I mean, if you're in Japan so much.
Well, the training was in Brazil. My family was in Brazil. I mean, Japan was tough for us. I mean, nobody could speak English. The culture is beautiful, but it's totally different from ours. And I was used to living Rio. On the beach, surfing, training jiu-jitsu, walking around with sandals, very, very low profile, very different than Tokyo. And it was too much of a big city to me.
Yeah. ADCC, May 17, 2003, Royce Gracie.
Right.
ADCC comes back to Brazil. I shouldn't say comes back. It goes to Brazil for the first time. And the Gracies treat this like a homecoming.
Right.
And nobody talks about it, but other than Roger, all of them got upset. Well, Roger didn't make it to the finals. He had a great 2005, but it was not one of the Gracie family's best moments.
Right. I mean, you mean the first time that he lost the final, right?
Well, he lost the final, but here, Hoyler lost, Henzo lost, across the board.
Yeah, I was very unlucky that day because
you got Roger in your first draw.
I was preparing myself to Pride, and one of my fights didn't happen. So you say, you know what? I'm gonna go to Abu Dhabi. It was like 2-3 weeks later. So I went to so I got there. I called Guy Nevens, the organizer, say, Guy, do you have a place for me? Yeah, man, of course. You are, you are the name. Okay, first fight, Royce Gracie. I did good, but I got tired. I was not prepared physically. I was prepared for MMA, not for grappling. And I exchanged some takedowns, some Greco, and I was taking him down, but I could not keep him on the floor. He was going third position all the time, and he had a lot of volume. And he didn't tire it. He didn't get tired as I did. And at the end, thanks God, he made a point on me. Because otherwise I would be 0-0. He would go more 5 minutes and definitely he would submit me because I was dead. I could not keep going. I gave everything I got.
Wow. His 2005, in my opinion, is just as impressive as Gordon Ryan. Gordon Ryan.
He did really good.
Yeah. is prestigious. And dude, this, ladies and gentlemen, in 2020, Gordon Ryan was looking for an opponent. This guy right here said, I'm in. I'll go. When everybody else is running scared, the old man from Brazil says, no. Pick me.
Right. Yeah, man.
It's fucking balls, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I love so much, and I knew that I was getting older, and I couldn't last forever. So you know what? I gotta do what I gotta do now. I have no time to waste. And then again, you know, the time is the biggest asset that we have. If we don't use it wisely, it's a shame.
Did Pride ever ask you guys to do any works or anything funny?
Yeah, we did some crazy stuff there, man. You know, I did a lot of marketing on TV, clothing, shampoos. Can you imagine that? Shampoos.
Did they ever ask you to drop a fight or anything like that?
No, never. Not to me. Never. I would laugh in their faces.
Huh.
Not to me. I've heard people saying that, but I never heard officially, never heard a fighter.
Mark Coleman said he got 75,000. He said it right on our podcast. He got 75,000. Yep.
He got submitted?
By Takata.
Yeah, by Takata.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was
in an early Pride.
And you know, I will say this about Mark: as good as of a wrestler and good of a fighter as Mark Coleman is, he's terrible at faking losing.
That's
like
true.
it was absolutely awful. One of the worst
pretend
finishes.
You're gonna be a pro wrestler.
No, that's not his life. No. TK Kosaka goes from Japan, trains with the Lions Den. Man, he's 39-29-2, but that's a Japan 39-29-2. He's a fucking savage. You almost knocked him out 2 times in your fight.
Yeah, I was talking about this fight just today. Because surgery on my hand here, you see here. I don't know if you can see. There is you see.
Yeah.
Here, so I had the exposed bone. That guy had the head so hard that I was almost, as you said, I almost knocked him out. His eye was like this. Now I'm gonna finish the deal. So I kind of aim with this hand, and I got the top of his head. The bone went out. I had a exposed a fracture. The pain was so enormous that my leg got numb. I was like, whoa, and he saw it. He right there. And guess what? So he engaged with me. And then I tried to take it. I said, no, I cannot punch this guy anymore. The pain was so, and I kind of hold him. And I had a good Greco-Roman bear hug. I always like to fight here, connected, use my knees and stuff. So I tried to take him down, and he countered me. And I don't know exactly what happened, but I ended up fracturing the plateau of my tibia. So I could not stand and I could not punch. Then I said, it is what it is. God gave me this task. I will try to finish the fight with the tools I have. So I went for the trade, and he punched me, and I lost confidence.
Oh, man. You know, your latter ADCCs too, Renzo Gracie in 2011, and Fabio Gurgel 2013. Your former teammate, Ricardo Liborio, in 2015.
He knew all my game. It was hard to impose my game on him.
Yeah. The Blackzilians, you worked with them for 7 months. You were the head coach.
Right.
You never really went on record as to why you left.
Well, when I had when I was used to work in Brazilian top team was different. I have a different power there. All those guys, they came to us. They were in need to get a fight and make money. They need to train. They didn't have no place to train. And we had access to Pride. We have access to UFC, kind of. We have access of other. Our gym had a strong name. We're like like a Griff, right? We had a name, and we're a label, a strong label. So it was easier to sell the fighters. So they respect me as a man, as a person, as a coach, as a fighter. So when I went to Black Zillions, I told the man in charge also, oh my God, so many people has died. Glenn Robinson, he's passed away. He was the main guy there. And he invited me to go to train Rashad Evans. And I stayed for
John Jones. Yeah, for John Jones fight.
Stayed for 15 days. And eventually he did a good fight, but he lost. And then I got back to Brazil. And they said, Mario, you need to come back. You need to come back. Man, look, I have my business here. I have my life here. But you need to come. I said, tell me a number. I say, okay, this number, come. All right, I go. But I got there. I said, look, man, the money is good. The proposal is good. But look, I gotta have the final word.
Head coach. There's only one head coach. Only one.
I gotta dictate the rules. If I do not dictate the rules, it's gonna be a problem. And that's what happened. I mean, he has the power, he has the money, he has the access. He liked to do it. He did a good job though, but he didn't follow what I believed. And maybe what I believed was not right, but I got in a point that, you know what, this thing's not going to work out. And we had a good team. We had a good coaches. We had Harry Hooft. We have access with equipment.
George Santiago.
Yes, Santiago.
Jay-Z.
Eddie Alvarez. You name it.
Freaking studs.
Yeah. Oh my God, one more.
Melvin Gillard.
Anthony Johnson.
Rumble Johnson.
Rumble Johnson. We had
Alistair Overeem.
We had what's his name? Rashad
Evans. Yeah.
Belfort brother too.
Let me wait. You said I apologize. I got to go back. You said you went to Japan how many times over 8 years? How long of a plane ride? How long of a plane ride is that?
To be honest, I took pretty much every route as possible. And that exists that time. I flew many times to Air France. So it was like 12 hours from Rio to Paris. Wait there for 3-4 hours. And then 16 hours to Tokyo.
So it's you were there 52 times, 30 hours each plane trip.
Around that, yeah.
On one of those plane trips, you and I were in the same plane. And when we landed in Tokyo, it was before Pride Final Conflict. I went up and introduced myself. And after all those hours on the plane, you were a gentleman. You gave me a picture. You were a gentleman back then. You're a gentleman today. So I appreciate you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
60 hours, 30 there, 30 back, 52 times.
And we're not talking about the jet lag.
Oh, yeah. That's real.
7 hours.
So how would you guys get there right before the fight and then go, or would you go for a couple days?
No. We get there like 10 days before.
Smart.
9, 8, 10 days before. And I had the strategy that I used. It worked perfectly. So we arrived there after this enormous trip, this long trip. And the worst was not the plane. The worst was the bus, because the airplane lands in Narita. It's 1 hour and a half, 1 hour, 20 minutes drive to Tokyo. Sometimes there was traffic because the flight arrived like 4:30, and then customs, whatever. So there was a nightmare. You could not sleep on the bus. If you sleep on the bus, you would be dead. You could not sleep because 4:30 there would be like 3:30 in the morning in Brazil.
Oh,
Come on, don't. And so I remember my wife, I told her, look, don't sleep. No, I won't sleep. All of a sudden she was like, then it was a nightmare. So we were used to get in the hotel, honest, leave the bags, change, get the gear, and train. Right there.
oh my God.
So we train like sweat, like wow, all the water. Boy, we had diet, have to make way sometimes, right? So training, diet, blah, 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 blah. Then 11 o'clock at night, after dinner, boom. Then we already catch up a little bit with the jet lag because you sleep like straight 6-7 hours. So tired, so bad. Then you kind of, the next day, you cannot stay in the room. You gotta leave. You gotta walk, breathe, see the light, jog on the park. That's what we used to do. And then we managed to adapt ourselves better.
In 2007, Minotouro split from the Brazilian top team. There was never a reason given.
Well, pride was over. We didn't know what to do. He wants to do his own thing, and he did it. That's okay. I truly believe that fighters are like sons. You help them to grow up, not for you, it's for the world.
You used to train with Anderson Silva, but
Yes.
you weren't often in his corner. Was that because of he was Chute Boxe and it was not a good impression, or what was the reason for that?
No, I mean, when Anderson Silva, he trained with us before he was Anderson Silva. I mean, he was I kind of signed a fight for him in Korea. He trained with us for some years. Then he went to Cage Rage, and then Pride was over, and then I kind of stopped training. I retired myself in 2007. I kind of took my time, and then he took a different path. But I was used to train with him many times. Very talented.
What are you very talented? Yeah. What are your feelings of Walter Mattos, president of the BJJ Federation of Brazil?
Yeah, he's the reason I'm here talking to you, because I went to Salford, Brazil in 1992 to do a course there. And my family is from there in Salford, Brazil, in Porto Alegre, the capital of Salford, Brazil, of the state of Rio Grande do Sul, the last state of Brazil. I was born there, so I had family there. So he said, I want to train jiu-jitsu. I was a brown belt. So I went to a small gym, and he was the coach. And we became friends. And then after a while, he said, man, look, you crazy? What you want to do? Let's open up a gym. Let's make money here. And that's what I start, like making money. Then I could fight also MMA. Then I could go to Abu Dhabi. And that was it. So he was pretty much the guy who pushed me to get involved with jiu-jitsu professionally.
There was a rumor that you were an airplane pilot, or you told people you were an airplane pilot at the beginning of your career. Is that true?
That's what I went. That's what I went to do in 1991, 92. I went there to do a pilot course. and I did. PP as a pilot, private pilot. I did the commercial pilot. I did the IFR, instrumental fight rules, and multi-engine. I have like 220 hours with the airplane, but I gave up.
How good was Carlos Barreto?
He was good. I hate his jab.
Oh. Man, your career is fucking crazy, bro. Like Alan Goes. Alan Goes. He goes. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Alan Goes goes 7 years without losing a single jiu-jitsu match except one time in the absolute, in overtime, by an advantage. In terms of like jiu-jitsu pedigree, you'd be very hard-pressed to find somebody with a better one than Alan Goes. Why didn't he make the transition to ADCC? Why didn't he and Rickson ever meet up?
Man, Alan Goes was one of the hardest trainers I had in my life. He had an outstanding guard, good takedowns, good standing. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. He didn't find the right path. I don't know. It's hard to tell him. But he was one of the greatest that I ever trained with.
Without a doubt. But like when we interviewed him, well, how come you never went with Rickson? You know, it's like guys like you, guys like Goes, our heroes tell us Rickson was one of the greatest ever. And of course I believe you. I mean, what the fuck? I'm not going to doubt that. But it's like his competition and body of work doesn't equal yours, Goes, right, or some of your counterparts.
Yeah, I mean, Rickson came from a different era, right? He made his name, and then when the sports start to develop, again, he was trying. I think he was not wrong. He was trying to get the best out of his image. The image that he built, and he was trying to get the best out of it. He was trying to negotiate, and of course, why he would fight Alan Goes, right? Why he would fight Marco Ruas. Marco Ruas, yeah, I mean, Marco Ruas was a little bit more famous, but the appeal for the media, there is no substance to create money for him, and I think he did the right decision. He wanted
then that's it.
I didn't have the Gracie name. I had to put my face and go for it. Yep. But if I had what he had, maybe I would do the same thing. Who knows? But I like to fight. I like
With that, Joey, why don't we wrap this one up, man?
Man, it is great that we finally got you on here. Big thanks to Nick Lamanga for hooking this up for us. Mario, it was great meeting you 20 years ago, and it was great catching up with you today. Thank you for being on the show, sir.
Yeah, so now when you see me in the street, you're going to see me. I have no hair, so you're going to recognize me.
Yes, just like us. Same team, Mario. Thank you, brother.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. And whenever you guys need any more information, I'm right here.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
Take care.
Yep. One of my MMA heroes right there.
Mine too. When he said the saying, everyone wants to see God, but no one wants to die, it took everything for me not to mention DMT. So yeah. I used restraint. Restraint. It wasn't the right place.
I didn't mention mushrooms either. So that was also good. All right. So I got to talk to you about this guy, Nick. Okay. Nick.com. That's like in his email address.
Okay.
Very similar. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give his email address out, but very, very, very similar. And this guy, I think it was right around, we interviewed one of the coaches from Renzo Gracie. We got his number from, anyway, we get an East Coast guy. I mean, we've done like, 220 of these now. We get an East Coast guy. He comes onto the page. I was going to kick him off because what it looks like is like, it looks like it's like an Indian pretending like he's like a Bitcoin gazillionaire, and he's got you covered. You just got to buy this shit coin over here and don't worry about it. He's got it all covered.
He'll teach you how to make money.
But Nick's the real deal. Like, he's absolutely the real deal. So he posted a couple pictures of Demetrius Johnson with himself. Oh, no. He posted, dude, I'm having all types of brain farts right now. Aljamain Sterling posted a bunch of pictures of Aljamain Sterling. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy's like, he's like an actual human being. Like, he's not one of these pretend people on the internet. Sent him a message. Hey, bro, anyone you got, we have trouble with the East Coasters, please let me know. He goes, well, what about Mario Sperry? And my response is, well, I've been shut down about 4 or 5 times already, been Mario Sperry. But, if you think you can do it, great. 20 minutes later, I got Mario Sperry. On time. On time.
That's when you get promoted from fan of the show to friend of the show. We need more friends. We need more friends.
Oh, and I'll tell you the big flex. Hey, Nick, come on. Let's do the wrap up. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Oh, here's Eric Paulson's number. He said he'd like to go round 2.
Wow.
I also work out here. I don't know who this Nick guy is, but I'm going to tell you what.
He's Santa Claus.
Dude. Yes, he is. But he got us Mario Sperry, which is one of our Mount Rushmores. Anybody from that Carlson Gracie era, we're into. Like, we're into that.
Absolutely.
So, hey, we cleaned up a couple things. Our boy Medina just got confirmed as a black belt under Carlson.
Yeah. So did Vitor, but I didn't doubt that one.
No. Huh.
I'll let Todd know that he was vindicated.
And tell him we're not releasing this until he gets his chemo. Just say we will not release Mario saying that unless we get chemo Leopoldo.
That's a good excuse for me to text him so I can grind him on chemo again. I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah, good. So please like, share, subscribe. Joey, do you know how, like, we know there's certain tells that kind of give things away? Do you know how I know that there are no women listening to our podcast?
Because my stepmom is mad at me and stopped listening to us?
Well, that, and we've got like no reviews. We need we need like 33 more iTunes reviews to hit 100. And like, we're stagnant. And like, look at the body of work we put out. Like, we get tons of emails, tons of like interactions on YouTube. We just need an iTunes review. That's it. We haven't charged for anything. Commercials on YouTube are at the front. Commercials are at the end. You get a whole interview in between. There's literally no advertisements.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to buy athletic greens by typing in the code Joey. No,
boner
nothing
pills,
like that.
None of that. No.
I mean, I got some if you want to buy some, but hit me up in the comments.
Right. So, Joey, always a pleasure. Joey and I finally got to meet a couple days ago.
That's right.
Our friendship actually turned real the other night. No pictures were taken, I might add.
That's true.
We kept our dignity on that one. But man, I'll see you at BKFC on Saturday. Friday, you're coming to weigh-ins on Friday, and then I'll see you at Saturday as well.
I'll be there.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, like, share, subscribe, let your friends know. And I'll tell you what, if you guys want to make an appearance on this show, at this portion of it, get us somebody like Mario Sperry. 100%. Absolutely. Easy. Come on to wrap-up show. All right, Joey, do you think, buddy?
See ya.
Check out the full interview on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms.